In his feature film All Day and a Night, writer-director Joe Robert Cole wanted to tell a story about a seemingly unredeemable protagonist, Jakur.
I kind of set out to make a movie to humanize someone that we often struggle to find the humanity in. This idea of taking someone unredeemable and peeling back the layers to show them as redeemable.
To introduce the protagonist, Joe Robert Cole crafted an opening sequence that would set up the crime that led to Jakur's life sentence and would raise a question in the audience's mind. Why did he do this? So today, I want to explore how Cole and his team crafted a tense, authentic opening scene that establishes Jakur's crime. To examine how he used the following scene to raise a burning question in the viewer's mind, and to reveal how the opening sequence ultimately came together in the editing room. Let's sit down with writer and director Joe Robert Cole to take a look at the opening sequence of All Day and a Night.
Hi, I'm Joe Robert Cole, and this is the opening sequence.
The first scene of All Day and a Night hooks the audience by dropping them right into the middle of a mysterious and tense situation.
You're meeting this guy, and your immediate question is, who is he? Where is he? What is he contemplating? We reveal we're in Oakland once we get on the street. And then you see what he's doing at the car with the guns. And so then you're wondering, okay, where is he going? And so you're just kind of asking questions as you go along and answering them for the audience to keep them engaged with what's happening.
Cole and his crew use all the cinematic tools at their disposal to build this unsettling tension as the sequence progresses.
You know, in this sequence, we're trying to get a sense of what this community is. He is the danger in the space. He's not entering a dangerous area. He is the danger in a lot of ways. And we were looking for ways to show that.
The film's score, composed by Michael Abels, creeps in to set an ominous tone.
Michael Abels did a fantastic job with our score. That kind of note that keeps hitting, the kind of ominous note that's hitting, it also helps to kind of create the sense of impending danger.
The carefully choreographed cinematography by Jessica Lee Gagne introduces us to the environment from Jakur's point of view.
This film is so much from the point of view of its main character. We wanted the camera to almost be magnetic to him and have an elasticity to it, so it's moving away from him and close to him, and we're able to kind of get a sense of environment and explore environments through his point of view.
In All Day and a Night, Jakur's world is the city of Oakland, California.
I really felt that it was critical that we shoot there on location. We were able to get people to allow us to shoot in their homes and, you know, in their neighborhoods and moving through their yards. I love this idea of him going through humanity, ultimately to take humanity in a way. And so we're seeing him pull up, and there's a woman listening to gospel music across the street, and then he goes past the people dancing in the opening sequence. And so there's this kind of sense of joy and family that exists before he enters the home.
After the shocking climax of the opening scene, the film then goes on to raise the story's central question.
The same kind of structural idea of question and answer, that continues throughout the movie. Him committing this act, but us not understanding why he did it.
Asking a compelling question at the beginning of a film can be a powerful narrative device. It pulls the audience in while also providing a lens through which to understand the story. At Jakur's sentencing hearing, the mother of one of his victims gives an emotional testimony.
My granddaughter is only 10 years old. You took away her whole family and never even given a reason why. That's all I want to know. Why? Can you answer that?
Instead of being a whodunit, it's a whydunit.
People say they want to know why, but they really don't.
The thing that I would want an audience to feel or to be considering after the opening sequence is, I think, the same question that he's asking. How did I get here? Who am I? why did I do what I did?
If you had all day and a night to understand your life, where would you begin?
Through flashbacks, we begin to understand not only the context for this particular crime, but how and why Jakur became the person he is. But the movie wasn't always supposed to open this way. In fact, the screenplay starts with an entirely different series of scenes. The opening sequence of the movie was created in the edit, which, in filmmaking, is sometimes referred to as the final rewrite.
Cutting the movie probably was the most challenging aspect of the film, and I was really fortunate to have a great collaborator. My editor was fantastic.
Cole's script begins with Jakur arriving in prison, already having received his sentence.
I was kind of inspired by Memento, or I thought a lot about Memento when I was writing the script because how it kind of unveils or reveals a crime story going backward in time.
The original vision was to use a structure like Christopher Nolan's 2000 film Memento, moving linearly backward through Jakur's recent history, intercut with memories from his childhood.
In the script, they would, he arrives at prison, then you see him as a kid, then you see him in the courtroom, then you see him as a kid, and then you see, and you keep going back.
But once a film moves into the editing room, new, more powerful possibilities can emerge.
Once we assembled it, you had these really powerfully performed scenes that intellectually worked, but because of the narrative structure, you were finding out why you should feel a certain way after you've already seen the scene where you should feel. There was something lost in that.
So Joe Robert Cole and his editor Mako Kamitsuna pulled apart the movie to discover the best emotional journey for the audience.
And it took a lot of trial and error to kind of make sure that journey wasn't lost. I actually feel like the film speaks more to what I intended and my intent than maybe the script does, which I think is lovely.
Ultimately, Cole and his editor landed on a new ordering of the scenes to create the ideal emotional journey for the audience in the opening sequence. First, they show us the shocking crime. Then, they reveal the consequences and raise the question of why, in order to launch us on a journey which will slowly peel back the layers of Jakur's life.
I'm a big believer in collaboration. No one person has all the answers. We had a tremendously talented cast, talented crew of artists. Those conversations were always pushing us in a very positive direction.
Through collaboration at every step of production and post-production, Cole and his team crafted a tense, intriguing, and provocative opening sequence for All Day and a Night.